We're back. Happy Monday. Happy Eagles game day. The vibes are immaculate right now. The Eagles are just under 2 hours from Monday Night Football. I haven't even fallen asleep yet, so that's already a step in the right direction. I hope you are all set for what promises to be an explosive night of Eagles action, especially on the back of what was a chaotic NFL Week 3. Like, we saw thrills, spills, everything in between. We will be recapping all the action from the NFC East, as well as previewing what's to come down at Raymond James Stadium. Eagles, Bucs, 2-2-0 teams. We previewed this game on Friday. We're going to go into much more depth in it today. Answer any questions you guys have. We're going to look at some predictions, spotlight some potential matchups, some weaknesses on this very impressive, very underrated Tampa Bay team, and go from there. But I'm glad to see so many of you in bright and early. No better place to start than Jonathan. I never doubted Jonathan Gannon. He's my favourite person. I never once slagged him off. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you were all very big Jonathan Gannon supporters as well. I never once said I wanted him out of Philadelphia. I never once said he was a bad coach. I never once said he'd be exposed in Arizona. Not me. You'd never find that anywhere within 3 seconds of internet searching. But for one weekend only, he was my favourite person on the planet because he made Dallas look absolutely trash. And it's all that matters. It's all that matters. Like, you couldn't ask for a better game than that. Like, for Dallas to just come out that flat. We're going to get to the NFC East as a whole. This game, all of a sudden, for me, feels a lot more important just based off of what we saw this past weekend. Sunday morning, Slants, nice to see you. A crowd should go to you for the nice comment. Thank you, sir. Hey, Liam, can you forgive me on this Eagles name day? It depends what you've done, but I'll do my best. We're cooking with gasoline, and I have all the fire in my gut after that win. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get the first sexy screenshot of the day. I know you guys like my screenshots. I've come loaded with them. I haven't uploaded any of them. Oh, why don't they ever save it? It's such a lot. I have got them here. I've even gone to town and made some new colour ones. So you've got to give me another 30 seconds while he's upload. But yeah, the NFC East, not pretty. I think there was a week maybe where everyone thought that all of a sudden maybe this division could be getting back to the NFC Beast. And now it's back to kind of the NFC least. No team at the minute is undefeated in the NFC East except for Philadelphia coming into tonight. Now, why this game is suddenly a lot more important, if we look at this sexy graphic over here, is the Cowboys have made a monumental error in just ruining everything by somehow losing to the Cardinals, okay? The Eagles, let's start with the Eagles. We know the schedule, we know the team, it's nice and easy. After this game, regardless come win, lose, or somehow tie, they should beat the Commanders after Sam Howell was absolutely exposed by the Buffalo Bills. That should be a win. They got 3 points. I think they lost 37-3. Wasn't great. The Commanders are in a bit of a tizzy. The Rams, not brilliant, if we're honest with ourselves. Definitely the shadow of what they used to be. The Zach Wilson-led New York Jets, that should be 3 wins in a row. The Miami Dolphins could well be, they might be the best team in football right now, the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that is an understatement. So beware of the Dolphins. You know, a win there will be absolutely huge, but I don't think it's expected by any means. And then the Cowboys, or as I guess misrun the graphic, the Cowboys. Brilliant. Anyway, that should be a 4 out of 5 game stretch now. This is the easy stretch for Philadelphia. The easy stretch. We know going into week 11 onwards, it gets a little bit tight, a little bit leery, a little bit stressful. But this is the area where they absolutely have to take advantage of these matchups. They've got away by not exactly playing brilliant in week 1. They didn't exactly set the world on fire in week 2. But they're 2-0. They've got a chance to go to 3-0 tonight, take sole division of the NFC East, and then have a huge run. Potentially they could be 6-0. They could very easily be 6-0. And at that point, it doesn't really matter whether they limp into that stretch against the Bills and the Chiefs, whether they go soaring in. The playoffs should be all but a guarantee at that stage. So this is an imperative stretch. They have to make sure they come away with a win tonight. Especially if we look at the Dallas Cowboys schedule there. They fumble the bag against the Cardinals. They look atrocious. Somehow, some way. They now have to go into Bill Belichick world and survive that, as Philadelphia proved earlier in the year. That isn't exactly the easiest task on the planet. Then they host the San Francisco 49ers. That's a quibble. That's not great. They're probably going to get, fraud watched there. The Chargers, sure, they're without Mike Williams, but they are still a dangerous team. I mean, hopefully Eckler could be a factor by that point. I'm not actually sure what his status is. Apologies if he is out for the year. I thought it was IR, but the Rams aren't great. And then at Philadelphia, that could well be a loss for them. Like, that should, if the Eagles are going to win one game against the Cowboys, it has to be the one at home. Like, going into Jerry World and expecting a win, we know it hasn't happened for quite some time. This has to be the one they take advantage of. So there is every chance Philadelphia definitely has the better stretch of games here, right? They have the more winnable stretch. You can see the Cowboys maybe going 1, 2, at maximum 3 wins. And the Rams might punish them, the Patriots might punish them, and the Chargers might. So the 3 games they might win aren't even like given. The Eagles should piss it against the Commanders, should fly past the Rams, should blow past the Jets. See the difference? Like, this is why this game matters. The Commanders, yeah, let's go down that rabbit hole. I was misled into being a Sam Howell believer for approximately 7 days. I'll never make that mistake again. That wasn't pretty, was it, against the Buffalo Bills? Very much brought back down to earth there. They made him look like mincemeat, and then he goes to face Philadelphia very shortly after their next game. Then they've got the Bears, the Falcons, the Giants, and another game against the Eagles. So they are in a bit of a quibble there, aren't they? Good defense, Philadelphia. Good defense, Chicago. A resurgent Atlanta, whatever the Giants are doing in Philadelphia again. They're not winning more than 2 or 3 games in that stretch. So Washington all but out of it at that point. The New York Giants, again, somehow dealt Philadelphia a fantastic hand by making a mistake of their own. They now have to face the Seahawks, then try not to get shafted by the Dolphins and the Bills in back-to-back weeks. Talk about an Eiffel Tower. The Commanders, that could well just be a coin flip of who fumbles more and which special teams randomly kicks a fumbled punt all the way to the end zone. And then the Jets, which they might win. So the Giants could realistically go, 1, 2, again, maybe 3 games, more than likely 2. The Eagles, this is very much all of a sudden, in the space of a week, this is their division now to take advantage of. This absolutely is their stomping ground. If they go 3-0 tonight, and they go 4-0 against the Commanders, and they go 5 against the Rams and 6 against the Jets, doesn't matter what happens against the Cowboys. The Dolphins. Like, they'll have that much momentum. It will be very hard to catch. And it's exactly what they needed. This couldn't have gone better. Forget what we're seeing on the field right now. I know the product is a little bit shoddy. It's not buttoned up. It's not exactly the cleanest Eagles team we've ever seen. But this could not be going better from a perspective of this Eagles team is in sole control of the NFC East right now. And that is, again, like Jalen Hurts said in the press conference, that is all that matters. It doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter if it's 300 passing yards, 100 rushing yards, 150 yards, 175 for DeAndre Swift. Doesn't matter who gets it, when they get it. All that matters is that they get it. They're 2-0, and I think they're looking good. If I joke with your pronunciation for fun, no, you can do it. I don't mind. You can joke at me. I'm a nightmare for it. I know my pronunciation's terrible. Like, I have had the worst pronunciation of everything since like day one. Before I even did Eagles stuff, so I used to do TV broadcasting for motorsport, and it was my first ever live broadcast from Silverstone for anyone that does follow F1 or other motorsports. And the guy I was commentating with was called Charlie Butler Henderson, and we were coming back from a commercial break, and I had a producer in my headphone telling me like, right, 3, 2, 1. And I was like, welcome back to Silverstone with myself, Liam Jenkins, and my co-commentator, Charlie Hender Butlerson. And he just looked at me and like tapped my thigh. And I was like, so I've always been, I'm not great with names. So you have to help me out with the pronunciation. Cowboys, they're not great. They're really not in a good spot right now. I think it's a paper house waiting to be blown down by the big bad wolf. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles might just be the big bad wolf. Phil is in. Phil and his non-breakfast show trending in the AM. What a man. Love to see it. Thank you, Phil. I love the support. You can come ruin my shoe and put me under pressure now. You can reciprocate it. Kind of throw me off. Did you see Bradley's going to play nickel? Yeah, I saw they're expecting like Chris Godwin obviously to stay in the slot. I think they'll flex him outside. If James Bradbury's in the slot, you're going to flex Godwin outside. It's not like he's incapable of playing Z, is it? Like, he can play outside. He's done it plenty of times before. And if you're on an island and you've got Josh Joby, like, you're going to put your better receiver there. So I don't think it matters that they're going, they've moved Bradbury inside to take on Chris Godwin. Yeah, they haven't. They've moved him inside. He's the most capable guy they've got, and he's the most recent guy that's taken nickel snaps. So realistically, Godwin's going to move outside anyway, and he's going to be. I guarantee. I'll put money on it. There will be like a 20-yard pass to Chris Godwin down the boundary over Josh Jobe. No offense to him. I think he's going to have a good day. I think he can survive. He's more than capable enough to hold his own. But you're going up against a very good receiver in Chris Godwin and making out like, oh, Godwin's exclusively going to play the slot and moving Bradbury there will negate that. This isn't Madden. It's not going to happen like that. They're going to move him around. They're going to move Evans around. They're going to start trying to flex all of those guys. They might even start, pushing Richard White out there or something. They're going to try and make Josh Jobe feel as uncomfortable as possible if it is him. Maybe we get a little flirtation of Eli Ricks. Maybe we see some Keely Ringo. Whoever it is, it's going to be an experience. It's going to be tricky. And we can expect a few fireworks there. So it's nice that Bradbury's going inside. I don't know if it's what I would have done, but at the same time, I would have gone over Bryce Callahan. That would have been my guy. I'd have gone and signed him off the street, brought him in, stuck a jersey on him and just trotted him out, and it would have been perfect. But that's why I'm not an NFL coach, and why I'm sat here ruining your Monday evening instead. Are you still a Sam Howell truther? Not as much after that. If there was like a bar of like 0 to 100, I'd be on about 32. So it was about 64. 69. It's gone down. He can send the defenses have found an attack in dropping 7 and 8 and making us sustain moving the ball. That's a very good question for this time of night. Very, very good question. Let me show you. I'll tell you what I am concerned about defensively. And I've got a graphic for this. So K1, if he was here, will be having a hell of a time. I don't think he is. But what I will say is this. If I can get it up. There we go. So this is Kirk Cousins v. the Eagles on the right. Baker Mayfield v. the Bears on the left. This may not seem like a big deal. This might not feel you're going to be, okay, what's the context here? Why does that matter? Why, when I'm asking Liam about defense, did he show me a graphic about Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins? Well, Baker Mayfield went off for 300 yards against Chicago. Chicago is not exactly the best defense in the world, granted. But he looked good, completed most of his passes, was very clean and concise with the football. Nothing really to worry about. Kirk Cousins was able to blitz and, slice and dice that defense to shreds in the second half, threw for 4 touchdowns. The only reason, really, the Eagles won the game is because the Vikings' offensive line is comprised of literal milk bottles, all got knocked around, and they fumbled the ball like 4 times. The Eagles have 6 turnovers on the year, and I'm pretty sure 4 of them came in week 2. Not great. So you have to quantify, okay, which one here is the exception to the rule? Is the Eagles defense potentially vulnerable to a passer that could be like Baker Mayfield, that can attack, that is patient, that does have the ability to run a timing-based offense and has receivers like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to lap up space? Or is the Eagles getting 4 turnovers not the exception and they're back to their very best like we've seen them in the past? I don't know. I'm not really sure which one is the correct one here. But yeah, it's something worth noting, I think, for sure. It's something that we have to keep an eye on because the Eagles' defense is very good. They have to get pressure to the quarterback. We know that. Guys, you're going to have to bear with me. This is going to get clipped. I know. I'm very sorry. All I can say is I've got a very bad stomach right now. I'm struggling to focus. I've got to take a quick break. I didn't think this would ever see the day. I didn't think I'd ever see the day. I'm very sorry. I'll be back in 5 minutes probably. I'll stay for an extra 5 at the end. I'm trying to grim it out. I don't want to take the risk at this point. I hope you forgive me. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, we're back. Hello. I am very, very sorry for the emergency delay there. I can't believe 15 of you are still here. I don't know what's more terrifying, the fact that I had to orchestrate that or the fact 15 of you were down to... I come back and people leave. I should just go to the toilet and just stay. And, I'll have my stomach issues by myself. Fine, I see how it is. I did wash my hands. It wasn't good. I'll tell you what, that was more embarrassing than the genuine time where we had the whole, racist writer thing come out when I was streaming to like 3,000 people on Twitch. And, that was worse. That having to make that decision of whether I come back or not is, yeah, not great. But we are alive, alas. Guys, thank you very much. We don't have BD. I don't have a BD day. I know some people do. I think my younger brother does in his flat. I don't. There may be a couple more emergency breaks. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know what it was. It's just not good right now. It's been a bad day. Thought I could soldier on. Unfortunately not. It was about as messy as the Cowboys. And that's how we'll segue back into content. Right. So this is the point I was initially going to make because it was very uncoordinated because I was trying to work out how much longer I could survive. My point is, Baker Mayfield has proven he's a very capable quarterback, okay? Kirk Cousins is a very capable quarterback. We know that. The worry is, I genuinely think, is that the outlier in that game was Kirk Cousins making a ridiculous amount of turnovers. Is that the outlier? Is it not? I'm not really sure. So it's like, realistically, if the Eagles cannot force 4 turnovers against the Buccaneers, for instance, is Baker Mayfield and the Bucs offense going to do what the Vikings couldn't? The Vikings fumbled the ball out the back of the end zone, let's not forget. If that didn't happen, would that game have gone differently? The Bucs are in a point where they're capable enough, they're good enough to hold their own against fairly strong defenses. This is the toughest defense they've faced, granted. This is the toughest challenge that they've had all year long. I mean, 2 games, not all year, but you understand what I mean. But if there is some level, what I'd assume is that the Bucs come down a bit and the Eagles defense comes down a bit and you end up with like maybe a 260-yard game from Mayfield with a pick or 2. And it's like, realistically, the Bucs would still be in a situation to win that game if the offense can't kick into gear. So that's my main worry with the offense, or with the defense, sorry. And the defense is good. Don't get me wrong. Like the past defense has been really good. If we go back to this, the graphic we used from the other day, we know the Eagles defense, surprisingly, although it may not seem it to the eye and according to general stats, DVOA is among the best in the league. Rushing defense has been phenomenal. And Rashad White is not the kind of running back that's going to gash you for an 80-yard gain. Don't clip that if it happens, I swear to God. So it is all very much going to be on Baker Mayfield to sling his way into this one. I think this very well could end up being a passing shootout. And it's the kind of game Jalen Hurts needs. I don't think this game, as much as the defenses are going to like headline the show here, I think this is very much the kind of game that Jalen needs, where the run game might not be as prominent. The Bucs might have to be dealing with the same and slinging it as well. And Jalen might have to throw from behind. They might go 7-0 down early. They might go 7-0 up and then end up 10-7 down. Jalen might have to do a bit more with his arm. And I think he needs that kind of game to get him really back into a rhythm of things. Let's have a look. Baker did prove he was capable when. Yeah, it was... I'd say so. I think last game against Chicago, he looked very capable. He's being forced to kind of like roll around a little bit. But I think realistically, he can maintain an offense. It's a bit game managery right now, but it's enough, and that's kind of all they need. They don't have to have a game-breaking quarterback to start like making problems for opposing defenses. Baker Mayfield has always been a guy that will never lack confidence, for better or worse. He's either going to go 4 picks and look like the worst quarterback in the NFL, or he's going to have 1 fluke game and throw for 4 touchdowns. But somewhere in the middle is a guy that can, if contained and molded the right way, at least just be a bridge quarterback, at least win you some games. He won't be the difference in every game he plays, but he's got the ability to win you some games. And I think this could be a factor for sure. Do tell about that. It's not something I like to go into too much, but it was, 3 years ago now. A former writer used to work for us got into a spat with a Cowboys writer on Twitter, or a fan. They searched his name and found a ton of like racist tweets. Everyone started kicking off naturally. I was live streaming at the time. Had my phone blowing up, and I was like trying to drive on iRacing and realizing what was happening. So I had to sort like a press release saying how we're going to handle it, and talk with him, talk with the team, understand like the best course of action to take. All the while, my Twitter becomes a minefield of people very rightfully getting upset and attacking him, and then attacking me because I'm linked with him and it's my company he represents. So trying to handle that was fun. Still, that poo was more embarrassing, I can't lie. Over under on tummy aches. 3. I've already got a tummy ache again. I can't lie. I mean, I was really looking forward to this stream, and it's a different kind of stream. It's not going well. K1's in though. He's missed the good graphics. I'm sure we'll sneak them back in. Isaac's explained it. There we go. Yeah, it was a while back. Also, Carlton Davis was inactive today. So AJ Smithy got a backup. True, that could be something worth watching for sure. Carlton Davis is very much a corner of note. He's, I wouldn't say one of the best corners in the NFL, but he's certainly like maybe top 10, top 15, I would say, on his day. So again, it kind of, this is what I'm saying. It all sort of cancels out, doesn't it? Like it turns into this whole quarterback be quarterback thing, right? Like the Eagles don't have Avonte Maddox, the Bucs don't have Carlton Davis. So the Eagles have a good run defense, so do the Bucs. Rashard won't be able to run much. The Eagles might struggle running the ball. There's going to be a matchup advantage on both sides of the trenches. Like it feels like this has to be a game one of the two quarterbacks takes over. You'd like to assume that man would be Jalen Hurts in an ideal world. Did your mum make you shave? You look like 19. I shaved. I'm not even joking. I shaved because K1. A young man by the name of K1F8 the other day said I was very scruffy. And I took that personally. I was like, I don't look scruffy, do I? Went in the mirror, realised I did look very scruffy. So I had a shave. And now I look 9. I can't win. You can't win. It's a rock and a hard place. It's either I get ID'd and carded for energy drinks, or I look like, I don't know, I'm on some sort of downward spiral. Post-game graphic is going to be lit. I'll tell you, if you missed it earlier, I will show you this one, which we had, about how important this game is. Just because, again, the Cowboys fumbled the bag. The Eagles have a very good run of games. Out of the games the Cowboys have in their next 3 or 4, I think that out of the next 5, realistically, Dallas are going to probably lose to the Pats, lose to the Niners. They might beat a depleted Chargers offense. They should beat the Rams. They'll lose to the Eagles. That's 2 games. In an ideal world, the Eagles will beat the Commanders, beat the Rams, beat the Jets, lose to the Dolphins, beat the Cowboys. That's 4. And if they win tonight, that's 5. That brings you to a whopping total of 7-0. And by that point, the NFC East is over. And all of a sudden, that run at the end of the year is nowhere near as intimidating because the magnitude of those games gets sort of subtracted. You don't have to win anymore. And it's such a, I don't know, almost, I didn't really think of that. That, you know, you look at the schedule in July, August, and you're thinking, the Eagles really do have to make the most of this early run. They've got to be 4-0, got to be 5-0. And you do forget that the NFC East isn't particularly great and that the other teams might stumble a bit. And all 3 other teams have stumbled magnificently in the same weekend. And it is just given the Eagles enough of leeway where if they do win tonight, which they should beat the Bucs. Make no mistake, they should be winning tonight. But if they go to 3-0, it's just a huge... It might only look like one game to the 2-1 Cowboys, but it's a big difference when you look at that schedule and what lies ahead. And I said that personally. Dolphins are beating at home. I think the Dolphins might be the best team in football. I said it earlier in the stream. I really do think they've got that Kansas City vibe to them from a few years ago, like when Tyreek Hill. Funny enough, Tyreek Hill was still there. But Tua just looks like if Tua can stay healthy and they can get him through a whole year without any setbacks of any kind, that is a championship winning football team. It is so strong. They will be in the Super Bowl. I'd love an Eagles-Dolphins Super Bowl just because I know a few friends in England that are Dolphins fans, so I'd love it for that sentimental value. But it was a thrashing that we saw on Sunday, and it was effortless. It wasn't even like they were trying. Like they gave up halfway through, I'm pretty sure, and still made it look easy. So, you know, there's that to, I guess, keep an eye on. But back to the game at hand. There are still some things to keep an eye on for tonight. I have made another sexy, handy graphic about takeaways that I'm looking at, like keys to the game for tonight. Number one, get Jalen Hurts comfortable. That has to be the priority. He hasn't thrown for more than 200 yards yet. It's only been 2 games. There's no reason to sound the panic alarms. He sounded very composed, sounded very calm, sounded like he knows what he's doing. There's no reason to doubt him. There never has been. But at some point, he's going to have to pass for 250 this year. Like, you can't really go through a whole season of just not playing at like 60% of your potential. You're just not going to get there. The Eagles are lucky to be 2-0. He has to come out swinging. And I would much rather him like throw 2 picks, but be airing it out and throwing 30 times or making aggressive passes down the field and challenging the secondary than QB draw on 3rd and 12 and looking a little bit stifled in the pocket and kind of having to throw these underneath routes. Like, I want there to be a bit more aggression, and I don't think it's on Jalen. I think it very much is on Brian Johnson. I think that falls on Sirianni too, but I would like to see more from Jalen Hurts tonight. Number 2, focus the pass rush on the interior. We made a graphic the other day on Friday about how this man, Matt Failer, he's going to fail tonight, is a very, very overlooked part here. He is a weak link. He looks like a cornerback, for Christ's sake. Look at him. He's built like me. And he's a 14-year veteran. He's old. He had a bad year for the Chargers last year. He sucked this year so far. And to make life even better, I said last Friday that Cody Mack has been like one of the bright spots of that offensive line. Someone to really for them to hang their hat on. He's injured. I don't know if he's out tonight. I've not seen the final injury report. But if he is out, you've got a dodgy left guard, a backup right guard, a good center, one good left tackle, and one all right tackle. Get pressure on the interior. Send everything up that inside. And I promise it will work. Like, we haven't really seen Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis come into their own just yet. But in a game where the two guards are going to be vulnerable, they've got to pounce. They did all the right things against Minnesota. They've done all the right things against New England. It just so happens that the offenses are trying to game plan to just launch balls underneath, to just get passes 5, 6, 7 yards within 2 seconds so the pass rush can't get home. If that happens again against Tampa Bay, you have got 2 vulnerable guards that maybe just might miss a step, that maybe might let up on a rip move or a club. That's the difference. And all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how long you're getting that ball out, because you can get an arm up, you can get a body up, you can run someone back into the quarterback. I do think that's a potential outcome here. The Eagles would be smart to throw everything inside, twists, stunts, whatever it is. Get all your pressure funneling through those interior guards. And I'll quickly read your comments before we get to my other takeaways on the day. Can I shout out the Buffalo Bills? I mean, I can't. I don't think they're watching. I'll level with you, man, chatter. I don't think they're watching, but I know you're a Bills fan, if I remember rightly. So I will shout them out purely for their just absolute dominance that we saw last week. Matt says, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm here. It's nice to see you, Matt. You did miss the chaos earlier, although judging by my stomach, there might be another one incoming. So don't worry too much. I'm sure we're gonna see it." What's great about Hurts is he's not going to let himself play at the 50-60% he's been playing. Yeah, that's it. Like, there's no reason to be concerned. And we know what the ceiling is. We know the upside, and we know that he holds himself to the standard up here. He's probably just as annoyed as the fans, just as annoyed as the reporters, and as everyone else intertwined with that team. He's going to want to come out swinging. And he also has a habit of, like, when things go bad, to kind of overcompensate, and it's certainly a positive trait. But if Devontae Smith flatlines, you can almost bet he's going for 85 yards and a touchdown the next week. Dallas Goedert flatlined week 1, was force-fed the ball in week 2. Didn't do anything with it, mind. Sure, it wasn't great, but the intent was there, you know? And that's where I think Eagles fans can definitely have confidence about their quarterback. I can't lie, guys. I'm going to need another emergency break. This has been a rough ride so far. I will be back in about another 5 minutes. I'll put a sexy graphic up for you to watch. I'm very sorry. Whoever bet the over on the stomach aches, you're winning so far. This is horrendous. I'm really sorry. Okay, right, round 3, we're back. This is a mess, isn't it? This is every time I sit down, it doesn't help. I'm gonna try and push to an hour. I'm gonna try and push it to an hour. Like, if you've got the over, I'm very sorry to everyone watching this. It's not good. Let's just adore the graphic. Let's just adore the graphic. I'm glad Eric's in. CM Punk's theme song's on. The Eagle. Put it this way: if the Eagles are like less explosive than this, there's a problem. Okay, I need that far. I can't. But I'm battling through. I'm trying. I'm sat on a live stream, like as tense as could be. Need to duck out every 5 minutes. This is commitment to the brand. If my boss is watching this, I might well be getting the sack tomorrow, or maybe I'll get a raise for committing to the brand. Who knows? But it's only on PS. You won't get this on all Philly or all City Network, would you? Someone just running out and coming back. So just be thankful what you've got here. Okay, this is true human content in the best and the worst way. But yeah, look, we've still got some time. I know we'll go back to my takes. That's the wrong graphic. We're off to a flyer. Number 3, I mentioned earlier about just the pass rushing on the interior. I think coinciding with that, is being able to plug the rushing lanes. Like, get Rashad White out of this game. The Eagles did it well with Alex Mattison. They made Ramondre Stevenson, who had a terrific 2022 season, a total non-factor. They have to do the same here. And they should. Again, it's not like this is something they're incapable of. It's not something that is beyond them. It's very gettable. This is a basic day at the office stuff. This is like, when you turn up to work, make sure your tie's on nice and straight and your top button's done up. It's that level of basic. This is level 1 Eagles football. Make Rashad White a non-factor. Force Baker to run around. Because the more he's back there, the Eagles have the personnel to punish him. They've got Nolan Smith. They've got Hassan Reddick. They've got all sorts of people at their disposal who can really harass a quarterback that maybe isn't 100%. The only thing working for Baker Mayfield is that he's at home, and there will be an added element of confidence there because he's coming off a 2-0 start where he looked good against Chicago. He's warmed into this Tampa Bay offense very quickly. There's going to be no teething problems, no hesitation. But it's the Eagles' job to take the weapons away. Take them away. We know Baker's going to want to throw, and they're going to want to challenge whether it's Josh Jobe or Eli Ricks or whoever on the outside, because that's football. If you've got a weakness, you go to exploit it. That makes total sense. So it's the Eagles' job to get the call, like encourage it, like entice them. Genuinely, like why not? Why not push Chris Godwin to run a go route? Start your corner 20 yards off coverage and just let him run at you, because Baker's going to take longer to step back than he normally would. And he's going to be in that pocket waiting for the play to develop, and it's going to allow the big boys to get home. That, for me, as counterintuitive as it seems and as Jim Schwartz-esque as it feels, that for me has got to be the play tonight. Just reverse engineer it. If they're going to throw the ball out quick, make them throw longer. Tempt them to throw longer. If they want to eat up yards all day and take the freebies, that's fine. But they're gambling men down in Tampa Bay. This is Baker Mayfield. This is not Sam Bradford. This is not Chase Daniel. This is not Derek Carr. This is someone that is like a Jameis Winston but a less chaotic Jameis Winston. We'll go there. He can get it done. He's going to want to take those chances. He's going to want to push his team over the top. Let him take them. Entice him. Let him stay back in the pocket and let Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis do their thing. Let's see. Dan Silo would never battle through. Or Dan Silo would never battle through anything. But I'm amazed he didn't stream the entire breakfast show from the toilet anyway. But that's another debate. That's another debate entirely. He has never known adversity like this. He has never known adversity like... I don't know what's caused it. I've been fine all day. I got back from golf like an hour and a half ago. I've been working all through the day, setting the stream, making lovely graphics, writing articles, setting newsletters, doing admin. Not a care in the world. 20 minutes before I come on stream, and you'd think I just eaten like a red hot curry. Make it make sense. I know I'm going to make it through the game tonight, but at least I won't fall asleep. Put it that way. We'll get in the game tonight before notice. I love it. Baker wishes he has Jameis. True, but then I'm sure Jameis wishes he had like Baker's basic sense of awareness. Although I will say to Jameis Winston, the clip of him the other day in like the Saints locker room, really wholesome. Like when he was like waiting for everyone to walk through to applaud them or like shake their hand. He just is a stand-up guy. Like, you can't hate him. He's like what Anthony Richardson is trying to really overtly pick me boy be. Do you know what I mean? Like, Anthony Richardson, I'm staying late. Make sure to tell everyone I'm staying late, everyone. Tell everyone I'm doing all this, everyone. Jameis just does it. Doesn't do it for the cameras. Doesn't do it for anyone. Just does it because he's a nice guy. So yeah, I don't know. Big Jameis guy, although he is. I didn't know he led the team in passing yards of all time. Like, I don't know if it makes sense, that sentence, but he's Tampa Bay's all-time passing leader. That is terrifying when you think about it. I know he had like a 5K season nearly, and I know he has a tendency to sling it as hard as humanly possible. But he's only there for 5 years, and he's the all-time passing leader for a team that's been around since 1930 odd. Crazy when you actually put that into perspective of the quarterbacks that Tampa Bay have actually had. It is a bit wild. Time to go 3-0. I'm all for it. I think the Eagles will do it. I really do. It should be easy pickings for them in an ideal world. We'll get back to... I've got to stop getting that graphic up. That's the one I want. The other thing, point number 4, get everyone involved on offense except Quez Watkins. Leave him at home. No, I'm joking. Quez is absolutely fine, and I'd love him to do well. But the Eagles need to spread the ball around, and it's something I don't think they've done particularly well. And I mean, if they have, it just hasn't been a real rhythm to it. You know, I know that Smitty and AJ have the exact same amount of receptions, and that's fine. But there's a big drop off to Goddard. The running backs aren't really featuring too much as receiving options, and I don't even think there's been a wide receiver 3 reception yet. So there's got to be an element of give the defense some level of confusion. This is the Eagles offense. In 2022, it was a roulette wheel every play. Is it a run? Is it a pass? Is it deep? Is it short? No one had a clue. This just feels very pedestrian right now. I think a lot of that is because it has become predictable. And the only way to change that is by spreading it around. Spread the love. Why not give it to Quez on a screen? Why not throw it up deep to Devontae in the first play of the game? Get everyone involved. Rotate the running backs. Just stay. If one gets hot, just stay with him, for crying out loud. Don't let DeAndre Swift do his crossword again. But there has to be an intent to get everyone involved in offense, to keep the defense guessing. Because this Eagles offense so far has just lacked any kind of real identity. I still don't know what they are at this point in the year. I know we're only 2 games in. Is it a run-first offense? Is it a run-first offense because the quarterback's struggling? Is it just a fluke from DeAndre Swift? Is it just badly produced offense and the players are dragging it through? I don't know. And I hope we get some more clearer answers this evening. And finally, stop the BS. Don't get too cute. Stop the whole QB draw on 3rd and forever. Run on 1st down, pass incomplete on 2nd, run on 3rd. Brilliant. Stop it. There's no need, is there? There is no need for that level of just incompetence, and I don't know, however you want to word it, just stop it. It ends now. We want good BJ. We don't want bad BJ. All right? Brian Johnson's going to come out and maybe bring a bit more value to the offense right now rather than subtracting from it. The problem is that he's always had equal picks to Edie. Yeah, I mean, Jameis Winston is basically every quarterback I've ever had on Madden. Put it that way. Whenever I could draft a guy in the 1st round, I could sign someone, I could do whatever. He's always going to have that. So, you know. Oh, is it? Wow. The more you know. Look at that. I remember seeing pictures of the uniforms, but I was a little baby then, or unborn, so I wasn't around for them. Jalen Hurts grows eyeballs and throws to Dallas Goddard. Yes, Tom Whitehouse. I like that. That would be nice. That would be nice. Defense are taking away the deep throws, hence the run the damn ball down their throats. Look, whatever works. That's the thing. I understand the defenses have very much tried to figure out how to adapt to Jalen Hurts, and that's fantastic. But they've got to find a way to re-put them back on their perch. And it comes from that, again, that unpredictability. If they're going to sit deep, go screens and slants and sweeps and underneath and pitches and miss. You've got all the pieces in the world to run the most San Francisco level chaos offense ever. You look at what Nick Sirianni did when he was with the Chargers. You look at what Shane Steichen did. You look at what Nick Sirianni's done with the Colts when he was there for a bit. Just as a coach and what he's seen and the information he's inherited. There is no reason for that Eagles offense to come out looking like it's playing preseason week 2. They've got to be hotter and more... They have to be more intent. It's the only way I can word it, really. but they've got all the pieces in the world to make that magic happen. Like, if you've got a guy as dynamic as Devontae Smith, who can hurt you in as many ways as he can, like on a route, you never know what he's going to run, and you're just going to sit him dead at the Z spot forever. It is going to be easier to mark. It's the same way with AJ Brown. You just give him 10 yards of coverage, let him run at you, and then that's it. Like, get creative with them. That's what I'd like to see tonight from this Eagles team. I've been married for a while. Any BJ's better than none, except for Brian Johnson. In which case, right now he's not as enticing. Eat the dub. I won't be eating any dubs tonight. Not until my stomach settles. Maybe I'll do a post-game stream if I'm still awake, and I'll just be there till like 6 in the morning, eating all kinds of dubs. If running that is it. Touche. It is. But like, there isn't also an element of like balance. Like, they had a 17-play drive last week where they ran it like, was it 16 times or something like that? I don't know if you're going to get away with that every time. And I feel like there's almost an over zealousness to kind of push. I don't know. It's a good point. I mean, you kind of have to go with the game flow. That's the thing. You have to go with the flow of the game and just take it drive by drive, play by play, and take what the defense gives you. But kind of, I guess the opposite will be stick to your guns too. Like, how many times is, coaches in the past been criticised for sticking to their guns too much and not changing? Jonathan Gannon, Jim Schwartz on defense. The same can happen on offense. Like, Doug Peterson would never run the ball. We spent years shouting, run the ball from the rooftops. And now it's like we've gone backwards, totally backwards. So we shall see. I'm all for another DeAndre Swift breakout, though. Liam, I gave you only 1 thumbs up. But that's not good enough, man. Chatter, I need 7. No, I'm joking. Good to see Liam. I haven't seen you since 2019. Oh, I don't think it's been that long. I've been around to some degree. But it's nice to see you too. We are streaming, or I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, religiously now for Eagles coverage. Yeah, I'm going to try and make as much as I can of an effort to get back on YouTube and to bring more video content out. Now I do have a little bit more free time. At the very least, I can commit to these live streams when I'm not constantly having to dart to the toilet and back. But so far, so good. I think things might have settled a little bit, so we might be okay. Jeremy was running the ball well, beat Buffalo, then abandoned it to have Sam Howell throw 4 interceptions. Fair enough, but Sam Howell isn't Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts isn't Sam Howell. Fantasy players, Sam Hicks, are we back in Swift again? We're all Swifties this weekend, at least if you ask Travis Kelce. And I said, no, I'm joking. Right, who have I got? I don't think I've got anyone in my Eagles fantasy tonight. But I will say this: if you're gonna play anyone, play AJ Brown. If you're playing DFS or anything like that, play AJ Brown purely because, like, it's just the Eagles folklore, isn't it? Eagles player is bad 1 week, Eagles player goes off for 200 yards the next. Eagles player flatlines, Eagles player has a career game the next. DeAndre Swift sat there playing on like Legend of Zelda on his Switch in week 1. DeAndre Swift has a career game, the best since any Eagles running back since 2013 in week 2. We've seen it. Dallas Goedert got force-fed for like 2 drives last week, couldn't make anything happen, and they kind of called off on it. AJ Brown, after the sideline spat, they're going to kind of want to, more than anything, just kind of show there is no drama, there is no problem. They're going to go for him. I'm all in. I think AJ Brown's your play for this week. I think from a running back perspective, if you are talking fantasy, like, it's hard to project Eagles fantasy value because you never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates, and this one, you may as well be eating blind because you don't have a clue. It could be Swift 1 week, Scott the next, Kenny Gainwell the week after. The difficulty now that Sirianni has is if Kenny Gainwell was meant to be the guy, if he was meant to be the man in week 1, and then DeAndre Swift does that in his absence in week 2, when Kenny's back, what's the dynamic? Do you keep with a hot hand? Do you go to the second? We've seen it plenty of times before with quarterbacks and running backs alike. I'd like Kenny G to be able to stay that guy. I think he's got all the upside in the world. Again, I thought the writing was on the wall as soon as he was able to take away Miles Sanders' like playoff share of snaps and carries. Then they then got Rashad Penny. They got a trade opportunity they couldn't refuse. Has that, maybe like kind of taken away some of the shine from Kenny Gainwell? I don't know. I think it's very much still Kenny Gainwell's opportunity because he's the only back they've got long term. The other two are only here on like short deals. The one with actual any kind of like real investment in is Kenny, so they're going to want to get him going. Regardless of whether he's RB1, RB2, he's probably the more stable. He might not be getting like 50 plus yards a week, but I think he'll be like in the game plan sort of thing, you know? Just start Boston. That's the play. That is the play. I mean, it is a tale as old as time. Boston Scott owns the New York Giants. I can't. If it happens again, it'll be the funniest thing. I would love to see it. So like first play of the game, Boston Scott, like 35-yard run or something. It would make my life. Because you know the Giants are going to start coming into these games like knowing Boston Scott's going to be the focal point, and that's what makes it like 10 times better. That the Giants are spending assets worrying about a running back 3, running back 4 that plays twice a year and makes them look stupid. Brilliant. Rent-free FC. Love to see it. What can you do? But we are coming up to an hour. Let me know your predictions for tonight, guys. I know there's been a very chaotic run for this stream. But if there are any predictions that you guys have or questions that you've got about the game, about the Eagles, the NFL, my stomach, whatever it is, please let me know. He hasn't got a Wally Pip yet. I don't get the reference to Wally Pip. I might have to get that one explained. That could be a British thing. That's not you. That is me. Jarrell says us by 3 touchdowns. That's a big estimate. I think it's close. I think the Bucs really do keep it close. 28-23, I would say. I'm going to go 28-23 Eagles. 31-17. I'll tell you what we'll do. Right, guys. If you can pump up the likes. I'm not sure how many we're on because I've not really looked today, but I will take a look now. This is your last chance. I don't think we're going to get 35 today, are we? We're on 13. I'll tell you what. All right, we'll get to 20. We can get to 20 likes by the end of the stream. If you all put in the chat your score prediction and you get it right, you'll win a prize. If there are 2 of you, I will draw from a hat. I'm not made of money, unfortunately. But that will be it. So if you give us a like on the stream, drop your score prediction in the chat. Doesn't matter if you've just tuned in. Doesn't matter if you've not said a word. I'm not going to bite your head off or spotlight you or make you sing karaoke. Give us a like. Pop your name in. Have some fun. See if you can get it right. 37-16 says K1. 13. Yeah, I need two numbers, Jarrell. I'm joking. I saw the one before it. 28-17 says Isaac. 31-17. Oh, I'll tell you what. If it gets to 28-17 and there's like 2 minutes left and the Eagles have the ball and they start driving down the field, the tension between Eric and Isaac would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Could you imagine Eagles at the 50-yard line and they're going to go for a field goal? They start taking a knee. They kneel once, they kneel twice. Field goal! And it's tattered. You'd love to. It would be amazing. What else have we got? Here we come. We're rolling. Sam says 31-16. Jarrell says 35-14. 27-17. I like that. 27-13. 37-3, says the mad chatter. That is a bold claim from TMC. I like the assertion. I think that's a dominant win. I think that would turn a lot of the NFC East midnight green. People would be buzzing. To go from last week where there was kind of some mild panic to where we are now, a 37-3 win would just be tremendous, wouldn't it? Let's see where we're at in terms of likes. I have to refresh my stream on my phone. I'm not bionic, I'm afraid, you see. It's not even working now. Everything is going wrong tonight, I swear. 16. 4 more. Get your scores in. 4 and score, all right? You get your score in. Obviously, we've got a record because they come up on the side of the chat. I can come back, and if anyone does get the score right, first of all, shoot me a message because I'll probably forget first thing in the morning. It was put up a 70 burger on TV and be the first team in history to have 2 teams done it in a season. I tell you what, Duck, if that wins, I'll go from like memorabilia to a jersey just for you. If the Eagles put up 70 on Tampa Bay, regardless of how many Tampa score, I'll make sure you get yourself a jersey. How's that? Is that a deal? I'll shake your hand through the screen. There you go. I'll see if I've got any other sexy graphics. I don't think I do. Keep almost yawning though. See, this is it. Like, you know, this is why I hate primetime games. It's nearly midnight. I'm an old man now. I'm nearly 30 and flirty. You know, I'm nearly 29. It's getting old. I'm not the young buck I used to be, where I could wait until 6 a.m. caffeined out my tits and willing the Eagles home. It's sort of like take a nap at halftime and go, I'll wake up in halfway through the third quarter. Wake up at like 6 in the morning, and then kind of back to it's not great. Liam, do you see any chance Smitty overtakes Brown as WR1 this season? I know they use differently, but I mean, it's Hurt's go-to guy. Yeah, in short, yeah. There's no reason why it couldn't, put it that way. Like, it's always going to be difficult because they're not devout like WR1, WR2. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've got Terry McLaurin and then John from Wawa. It's not like you've got... it's very similar to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I would say that it's the only other tandem in the NFL to that level. Otherwise, it's like studs and duds, like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison sort of thing, or Adam Thielen, who's washed now. So I think that, for me, personally, Devontae Smith has the highest upside of any receiver in the NFL. And I will say that now. I've said it since he came into the NFL. Like, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the NFL. That's fine. He can wear that crown all he wants. But if we're building for 8 years from today and there was a draft, I would debate taking Devontae Smith first. Because I think there is no one as clinical in his route running as him. Everything looks so slow motion in his head. There's such a level of intelligence there. He can adapt to stray balls like very few can. He can cut anyone on a dime. He's just phenomenal. And I think he does give you a bit more in the way of versatility. Like, he can hurt you on any route. I don't know if AJ can as much. AJ's more physical. AJ's a big body. AJ will box out guys. AJ's going to be more dominant in the red zone, more valuable in the run game. Great on curls, so you can kind of absorb contacts and really box out those defenders. But if you just want someone to run a quick slant or like, I don't know, maybe a more niche route or nuanced route where there's like 2 or 3 breaks in it, Devontae's got the ability to kill you with that. And I think that will lead to more big play opportunities. I don't know if he will become the favourite receiver, but I predicted at the start of the year that he will lead the team in receiving. No shot at AJ. AJ's going to have a great year just because, why wouldn't he? He's AJ Brown, But Devontae Smith has a lot more left meat on the bone. I think we've seen AJ at his best for a few years now. His last season in Tennessee, his first season in Philadelphia. Devontae was great in year 1. He got better in year 2. He started to look even better in year 3. I think that trajectory is what may push him past AJ Brown in terms of production. In terms of being the better receiver, they just do different things. It's like, would you rather have a pumpkin spice latte or a gingerbread latte? I like pumpkin spice. I also like gingerbread. But gingerbread's Christmas. That they do different things for different days. When it's a bit rainy outside, when it's a bit snowy outside. That's where I think you've got to kind of like view these two all-star wideouts, 2 all-star coffees. You take them both any day of the week if someone bought you one for free. But yeah, I do think Smitty could 100% be that guy. Handshakes and all. Got you. Prediction, is this a Jalen Carter game? All right, Greg's cooking. Greg's in the kitchen. What's he got over there? Wait there, everyone. Wait there. What's that? I hear something. What's that? Greg's cooking. He's cooking something up. What's he... That was so drawn out. If it was over... I don't know why I did it. It's a waste of time. I'm annoyed at myself. I'm sorry I've ruined your comment, Greg. I've let you down. I've let myself down. I've let the team down. Jalen Carter game. Sports shows are comparing to RW. Slay gets a pick 6. That is a nuanced pick. I like that. I really like that for sure. I think Jalen Carter's game's been coming, isn't it? You can see, like, game 1 he was dominant. Game 2, you can really start to see him like pop on tape. Like, he was good in week 1, and it kind of took a few days for people to rewatch the game and pick out the splash plays. Now he's flashing on TV. Now he's got a real matchup against a weak, dodgy left guard no one's ever heard of and a right guard backup. It's feasting time. It is absolutely feasting time. It's Lima Boomer. I'm 28, so no, but I do like Oklahoma, I suppose. They're all right. I don't know, but I do feel old. My knees creak when I bend down now. Devontae will be our guy for 10 years before AJ's already done his job. Yeah, I mean, AJ will still be there. The difficulty is, it'll be very, very difficult for the Eagles to pay AJ, to pay Devontae, to pay Jalen, to pay Dallas. Like, you can't keep perimeter assets without there being a sacrifice somewhere else. So realistically, I could see a scenario where AJ's traded, not this year, not next year, probably the week after, not week after that, like 2025, probably, like towards the end of his deal. He's going to be like, what, 28, 29 years old, still in his prime, but it will afford them, like the Eagles, obviously the beauty of Devontae Smith, he's only in year 3. You've got another 2 seasons because of that option year that he had being a first-round pick. So there is some more flexibility there with Devontae. So maybe rework that contract and keep both players around a bit longer. But if Devontae does ball out, it will be tough to retain both of them. Liam could pass with Chris Hitchens if he grew his hair out and gained about 20 pounds. Great. Is there anyone I can't pass for? Oh, look, I don't understand how I can look like every white person on the planet. Like, am I just the default character in The Sims? Am I just the default, like, create a wrestler in SmackDown versus Raw? I don't. How can I be Joe Burrow, Sid the Sloth? What's that guy called? Oh, I got called someone else the other day, and that really annoyed me as well. Some like some like budget actor that was like, I got called like Young Leo when I had the curtain hair, but I'll take that any day. I get all sorts, absolutely all sorts. It's horrendous. I don't understand. I look like everyone and no one. I'm like Jack and Hagar from Game of Thrones. It's an all-star mission. Do you have a plan to stay on during the game? I would tonight. I promise you, I actually was tonight. I was going to end it at like 7:30 and come back on for 8 and do the first half. Unfortunately, my bowels decided to have other plans and make that sort of impossible, I would say. Just from a longevity perspective. I mean, it seems to be calm now, but I don't want to jinx it, and I'd hate to be, I'd hate to have to dash out and then the Eagles score a touchdown and I come back and I've missed everything because I've been exploding somewhere else. Eat cooking in the pot. Look at his cooking. Yeah, I'm not a good cook. I'm making a stir fry tomorrow for me and my girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure we might end up with food poisoning. Maybe that's why I have it now. I don't know. AJ Brown may be the best wide receiver. What, in football or is in like of the two? Because it's an interesting debate. It really is. I don't know where you would rank AJ among like the NFL elite, but he's definitely up like top 5 for sure. AJ Brown and D Smith is like having Kobe and LeBron on the same team. Who cares about number 1? That's it. That's the thing. And as long as that remains the case, the only issue is there's going to be a sense for Devontae of getting paid. Because he's come in, he's seen Jalen get paid. He's seen AJ Smith get traded with a massive deal. And if you outproduce a receiver with that deal in your own team, you're going to want your money. And it's like everyone realistically has a chip on their shoulder, especially in the NFL. Everyone wants to get the most money they can. And if you know you can get more elsewhere, you're going to push for that. If you feel like, the other thing is if you feel like you've got a glass ceiling over you, Like if you feel that you can do more, like if Devontae Smith could go to, I don't know, Green Bay. I mean, remember we're not talking about Christian Watson, but I'm trying to think of a team that's got like no one. Can I pick one? I was going to say Denver. If Denver rebuild and they get rid of Sutton, maybe. Or I know they got Judy, but like, I mean, everyone's got like a decent wide receiver 1, haven't they? But I'm trying to think of like one that's got just none of note. Really, I don't even think there is, which is probably a rarity. There's normally at least 1 or 2 teams that have no viable like candidates anywhere. But my point is, Devontae could be the leading receiver on most teams in the NFL already. Give him 2 years, and he's going to know that value even more so. Clayton Dawson, if he dropped a few dozen pounds, lots of guys in the States use toilets every hour. I'm unfortunate, Yeah, mine's not by design. It's just one dodgy day at the office. Bit of a sidetrack, but as a fellow Brit, I want to know, pick one. Charlton win League One or Eagles win the Super Bowl? Oh, don't do that. Not now. Don't do it. No, that's not fair. Sam, we're friends. I will say Charlton purely because the Eagles won Super Bowl in 2017. They were in the Super Bowl this year. And the chances of them winning a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, I would say, is very high. Like, their championship window is very, very high right now. Like, they've got 4, 5, 6 years where they're going to be a championship contending team. Charlton, terrible. Useless team. Lucky to get a win. We won on Saturday, and we're still 16th place. No chance of absolutely anything happening. So, from like, I don't know. I'd love to see Charlton win something because it's just it's physically impossible. It's physically impossible. Whereas the Eagles will regardless. And I'm used to seeing the Eagles win stuff now. I've seen them win like 3 NFC Easts, 2 divisional crowns, and a Super Bowl and Super Bowl appearance. So I'm not used to that with Charlton. So I feel like I would do. I would say that just for that perspective. Hitchens was a Brit, so he's also a better comp than Burrow. No, I like the Joe Burrow pick because Joe Burrow got paid. You know, Joe Burrow got his bag. I tell you what, one funny story. Once upon a time, back in COVID, obviously you're in lockdown. I was a sucker and I bought Tinder Premium. And I, for one night, uploaded like the picture of Joe Burrow, like with the cigar, and another one of him like in a practice jersey, and then 3 of me, but I filtered them in. So I had like me, Joe, me, Joe, me, Joe, or whatever. And I just filtered them in. And I just put my Tinder in, it must have been Philadelphia or wherever. And I just left it as Liam. And I went to see if anyone would actually pick up on the fact that I was using Joe Burrow's pictures. No one did. I matched people and spoke to them for like an hour. No one. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of a compliment, I suppose. Do Jets have a receiver or is Zach Wilson just trash? Yeah, they want Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's a hell of a player, I think. He's a very fun receiver to watch. So, I can't disrespect him. Stick to soccer with that answer. Yeah, I know. Look, at least it's not the Usher tapes. My God. I said it was a disappointment that Usher was headlining the Super Bowl halftime show and got castrated on the I lost about 8 followers for saying it's disappointing that Usher's headlining the Super Bowl. Sorry. Imagine that. Someone was like, oh, he had bad takes anyway. Follows me. Physically follows me on Twitter. So it's like, I could never imagine, like, following someone like, I don't know, for me, my passion's wrestling. I couldn't imagine following a Sean Ross Sapp, who's like one of the big wrestling reporters. Couldn't imagine unfollowing him because he's like, oh, it's disappointing that this fella's headlining Glastonbury. Who gives a shit? Behave yourselves. Like, I'm not a big Usher fan. Okay. So, like, I've never seen so much pushback. I've gone on tape and said the Eagles should keep Sam Bradford instead of drafting a quarterback in 2016. I was on tape saying about Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas and Christ knows who else. John Hightower. And yet the one I get pushback for is Usher. Make it make sense. I said the same about boys Luton last year in the champ. Oh, I bet you're having a hell of it. You better have a field day, aren't you? God, lovely scenes. I've never been to Luton's ground. I did miss the Luton Charlton games, to be fair, though. I mean, they were always a nightmare. But no, congrats on the promotion to the Prem. Like, it's cool that, I don't know, you're up there surviving. Like, the whole story of Luton Town getting there is amazing. It's wicked. Love to see it. Charlton fan, oh no. Yeah, have I ever played American football in Britain? Not properly. Like, we had a few of us like down our local like park, and we had like 10 of us. So we did like 5-on-5, and that was all right. And I made one catch, and some girl clapped. That was all right. That's probably the most athletic thing I've ever done in my life. People die in their R&B. Yeah, I didn't know it was such a poignant thing. If the 1975 were headlining the Super Bowl show, and someone were like, "Oh, that's horrible," I don't think I'd be bothered. I wouldn't find it in my soul to be annoyed about someone else's opinion about a band I like. I couldn't. But maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe being British, you know, we just don't care about anything. It just could be the fact I'm British. I don't know. Yeah, John Hightower in college was a different animal, wasn't he? He was a different beast. I mean, the all 22 from that Boise State highlight was just... Oh, God, that man ruined my life. Ruined my life. I had him graded so damn high. The only takeaway from that draft was that I was so low on Denzel Mims when everyone else was high. I was like, the guy's a bum. You can see it. Like, there is no effort. He's too stiff in his routes. He's not going to succeed at the NFL level. No, Denzel Mims in the first round. That went well. But then, at least mine was a 5th round pick whiff. Who cares? 5th round pick whiff. No one's bothered. But you know, it is what it is. So there we go, K1. I've got a Sam Bradford jersey in that room. Oh, I wear it all the time, okay? I love Sam Bradford. I can't tell you why. I wish I knew why. But he was very much unfairly vilified, and I totally agree with that. He was innocent, lovely. People just hate on him because he accidentally got injured and also accidentally made a lot of money. I don't think he was great, sure. But he could maintain an offense, and he had the prettiest... I'll tell you what. Him and Drew Brees have the prettiest spirals I've ever seen. I will say that hand on heart. That is a true story. That's not an exaggeration. The prettiest footballs I've ever seen thrown by a player, Sam Bradford, Drew Brees. Like, they just do look like gorgeous. I don't know why they're different. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is up there, I think. But I don't know. Something about when Sam Bradford throws a deep ball, it's just... Look, I'll stop that now. He was with the Jets. I'm pretty sure he got cut. Yeah, I don't know where he is now. Probably in like Cancun or somewhere, just watching, probably watching his stream. But on that note, guys, I know it is like 1:15. Is there any questions you want to go over or predictions that you want to get in? Don't forget, if you haven't got your prediction in already, if you get a score prediction in the chat before the stream ends and that score prediction comes true, we will indeed get you a prize if you win. Is that not Marvin Mims or is that separate? They're not related, are they? I thought that was Marvin, or am I making that? Am I actually having like one of those? What are they called? Not Freeman theories, Mandela effect things. Freeman theories. I was thinking of like I don't. Do you know what? I don't know where that came from. I don't know what I was thinking there. Somehow I thought I don't know. I drew a link between Morgan Freeman and Nelson Mandela, and I thought Mandela. I went Freeman theory. I couldn't tell you. 2 minutes. I thought the game started in an hour. What do you mean game starts in 2 minutes? Are you serious? Oh my God, it does. Guys, I'm very sorry. Jeez, I had no idea. The game starts in 2 minutes. Abandon. Run to your TVs. 34-17. TJ, thank you for getting your score in. And thank you guys for hanging on to what has been the most chaotic live stream I've ever done. Under 2.5 toilet breaks did clash though. Yeah, the UK time really messed me up there. I thought this was like 8:15. So completely, I was going to pre-game for another hour. So thank God that didn't happen. Guys, go enjoy your game. Thank you very much for tuning into this stream. I love you all. Eject, panic, run away, go Birds. Let's hope they bring this home and go to 3-0. I'll see you tomorrow night. No, I won't. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, without stomach troubles, with more sexy graphics. Go Birds. I'll see you then.